Hello, I'm David Harris from Starkville, Mississippi, and I'm here to do the fourth painting in my social distancing series. I'm a certified Ross Instructor, and this is a painting right out of a Ross book. Now, I take allowances, so there are going to be a few things where I'll head off on a tangent, and we'll go ahead and see about getting things started. This painting is called Forest Edge. It's right out of a Bob Ross book, book 23, and painting number 2. And I'd go ahead and say it's one of my favorite Bob Ross paintings, but it seems like every time that I come to do a painting, it's always my favorite one. So I like this one anyway. Let's get rid of the silliness. I've done some preparation on this painting. I have used black gesso to paint in this background, big tree, and then after that I used a mixture of sap green and liquid clear, put on very, very thinly, and that's super important. Put this stuff on thin, because if you start it too wet, you're going to have problems throughout the painting. So we'll go ahead and start this. Go ahead and go through the colors that I've got on my palette. Titanium white, dark sienna, Van Dyke brown, sap green, cadmium yellow, yellow ochre, Indian yellow, bright red, cadmium red, I'd say. It's best to go ahead and invest in Bob Ross paints, brushes, all the material, because they're all made to do precisely this thing. So let's just say it will save you a lot of headaches to go ahead and get the correct material to do the paintings. Alright, we'll start with, even though I used this 2-inch brush to put on the green liquid clear mix. I'm going to go ahead and use it again. I've kind of knocked it out on a paper towel. I don't clean brushes very often. And I'm going to go up right in here and make a light area. Make it fade out. Maybe I'll put a little bit more. Give it some drama, some big contrast changes. I've got a bright spot in the center of the painting. This painting is all about light control. Controlling the light from the beginning to the end. If you don't control the light, you don't have a very good painting in the end on this one. Just being the way I am, I'm going to touch a tiny bit of Indian yellow to kind of mix in that light area. Okay, moving onward. I'm gonna start doing some background trees and shapes. Maybe I'll use a little bit of sap green. I'll throw it on this white. I'm gonna use a little bit of Van Dyke brown in with it. Kind of dull it a little bit. Way off back here in the distance, maybe not dark enough. Maybe there's some tree shapes way back there. And they're off in the distance. They don't have big impact. They're just background filler, so to speak. I'm using the corner of the brush. On trees, you always use the corner of the brush, and you see that rather than going straight in, I turn it to an angle and use that corner to build the shapes. And build shapes on shapes, grabbing different mixes of Van Dyke brown and sap green. I want to get a feeling of a forested area back here. Lots and lots of trees. And I don't have to put a lot of detail in any of that, actually. The darkness, see I'm going right over the top of it, that is just an aid to make things to where you can make really dark areas and lots of contrast. You see, I'm going to cover up a lot of those ragged edges that I left with the black gesso, just by dancing over it with some color. I'm going to stop here and put a little bit of structure in some of that stuff back in the background. Do that with the liner brush. Now, when you use a liner, most of the time you need to thin the paint. I'm going to come in here with a mix of Prussian, let's get organized here, sap green and Van Dyke brown. And I've watered it down somewhat. Let's see if that's dark enough. Yeah, that's about right. And if I get too much of the stuff, all I got to do is go back on it and tap it with my big brush, and some of that stuff will go away. Just want to make something pleasing to the eye. I hear a little bit of rain starting outside. This is from Mississippi, and we have just a few basic seasons, the rainy season and the drought. Right now we're in the rainy season. And I'm trying to get through with this before the big storms get here. Which I'm assured by the National Weather Service that they're on the way. I really don't have to be particular where any of this stuff is. We'll go back over and touch a little of it, make it kind of blend in with the surroundings where they don't stand out too much. And all I'm doing is taking the corner of that brush and kind of dancing over some of those trunks. So now I'm going to take a little step closer. And when I step closer, I'm going to increase the contrast. I'm going to put more darkness in this first layer of paint. So, let's see here. I'm going to take sap green, a little bit of Van Dyke brown, maybe a little more sap green. I'm doing this right on that same white spot I had from earlier, because I need to lighten it somewhat. I can't have it completely dark right now. I'm going to come in with the corner of that same brush, didn't clean it or anything. And I'm going to come in with a few more background type bushes, and they're slightly darker. They're closer. They have the appearance of being closer because of that darkness. Weedy looking stuff back there. Maybe I can go with just a little bit of highlight on that. I'll take, I'll use Indian yellow this time just because it's a little more transparent than the other yellows. I'll have to have it pretty bright. These are very light colored shapes. We'll stop and put some trunk structure in some of that. Right there. Now here's the rain coming. Hope it doesn't get too crazy right now. Maybe my wife will cut the computer off, I hope. A little bit more highlight. Start building some shapes. If I were wanting to do grass, I'd use the whole brush. Combine a couple of greens, and Indian yellow, a little bit different color. Come in with a little bit of yellow ochre. Back to mostly green and yellow. And I'll drop just a little bit bit off and way deep in the background, just for the fun of it. All these different yellows happening down in here, get a little bit back in there. So there's already a lot of stuff going on in painting. I gotta move forward again. This time I'm gonna get pretty dark with it. Go with sap green and Van Dyke brown. Mix it up a little bit, but I don't want it totally dark yet. Well, I can see some green in that. If it was totally dark, I couldn't really see the green. Just for the fun of it, I'm going to add just a little bit of cadmium yellow to that. Lighten it up a little bit more. This layer is really going to stand out strong against anything we've got up there so far. So, come in with, oh, maybe right in here. I'm going to cover up my little tree there. I'm going to come over here to this bigger, darker one. So I don't have to cover it up. I like it. Now let's go over here. A bit of paint. Pretty good darkness here. Red and more, and I want to make it even darker back here. Yeah, let's put a dark one right in here. Good stuff going on. I need to determine just where my path is going to be. I don't have to do a whole lot to it right now, but take some dark cyan and white, and maybe my path starts way back here, coming around the corner that way. Back over to the left. I'm using a lot of perspective. I exaggerate the perspective a little bit here. It helps things immensely. Do that. And that kind of sets the position of this path that I can cover up any part of it that I don't want. and I'm sure I will cover some of it. But that gives me a reference as to where my path and all is going to be. Now I'm coming on down. This time I'm going to use a good bit of Van Dyke brown, sap green, cadmium yellow, and I tell you, I think I want some Prussian blue. I'm going to squirt a little on my palette. I didn't put that out in the beginning. A little of that there. So I've got a much darker color, a fair amount of it, to make some more even darker, closer shapes. Take that same big brush, load it pretty heavy, and this time, see, I came right out onto the path. I can make another layer of even darker bushes, trees and things. Since I'm nice and dark this time, I'm going to come over here. Put some heavier objects along these edges. I'll carry that one all the way up. Different shaped tree. Maybe this is cedar or something. Over here, the same kind of thing. Lots of material. Paint on the brush. Come out, work in my pathway a couple of spots. A lot of stuff happening here in just a few minutes. Use that just a little bit. I need to come in and do a few trunks and things, and then I'll need to do some highlights. Maybe back here there's a little bit of trunk in there that shows up on occasion. And here. I'm going to do some highlights, so I cover some of that up. dark and intense when I get through with it. Let's see, well, yeah, it shows up. Not just knock your eyes out shows up, but it does show. I'm going to step back just a second because it's always important to step back and look at what you got going on. Okay. Like it so far. Okay, I always wash my line brush out when I get through with it. It's the only one that I wash every time. Now, take this 1-inch brush. We'll come in and start doing more highlights. I'm using more pure color this time. Going on top of darkness. I'm using Indian yellow right now. I think I use a little yellow ochre on this one. It's a little different tone to it. And again, trees, use a corner brush. I don't want to get too bright. Like I say, this painting is about controlling the light. The components are fairly minor if you control the light. I want to keep the light, real light, close to the center. I didn't use much of that red. I'm going to throw a little in there. Adapt these things to your personal preference. Really light up in here just to make things pop. But I don't want to get that light back away from the path very far. Let the brush get a little dirty, dry, and continue making some of these components. I'm just using mixtures, whatever happens to be on the brush, add something to it. I like to mix things on the brush. Very important to keep your color changing constantly, and that's one of the best ways to do it, is to do a good bit of mixing on the brush. Not a very pretty color right there, but I'm going to get a little bit of it. On the side of this cedar tree back here. Alright, maybe I'll go with cadmium yellow on that one. With white right there. Light control. I'm going to wash my 1-inch brush. So I can get more pure colors. Everything's starting to mush together.